What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a phenomenal night. We are back. I was on vacation, but man, it feels great to come back to outstanding news. Alonzo Highsmith was named general manager of football operations. This is something, I find that it's a very nice compliment to our staff. I know Alonzo Highsmith, you've been following, the football program for the Miami Hurricanes. He's been wanting for quite a while to be involved in some capacity at the University of Miami. It's evident. Our former players, our current players, everyone who's been involved, our fans, everybody wants to go back to the great years, the golden years of University of Miami football. I think Alonzo Highsmith is someone who understands, obviously, and Mario Cristobal, what it takes to, win at the University of Miami. I think his resume speaks for itself. I mean, he's been with 3 different NFL organizations: Cleveland Browns, Green Bay Packers, Seattle Seahawks. I think he knows how to evaluate talent from the college football ranks to the NFL. And I think this was a phenomenal addition to the Miami Hurricanes football program. Ross, I mean, just first thoughts about bringing on Mario Cristobal to the University of Miami.
You mean Alonzo? Did you mean Alonzo Highsmith?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Dude, I mean, fantastic move, dude.
Correct.
I mean,
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Fantastic move, dude. I mean, this is a guy whose entire life has been entrenched in football, and then when he got done playing football, decided to jump into the front offices of some of the best football teams in the NFL. I mean, we're talking Green Bay, Seattle, and Cleveland might have had some of their issues, but Cleveland's even getting on the right track lately. So, I mean, I see nothing wrong with this, dude. Honestly, I don't see how this could go bad for Miami. I really don't. And now it's about finding a mix of, yes, we know what worked in the past, and we know what Miami could be, but we got to find the mix between that old Miami and the new Miami, because we do need to find a new identity. We can't. The old Miami isn't coming back completely. We need to find a mix of it.
I 100% agree. I think primarily why he was brought onto the football program, Ross, was to evaluate players from the transfer portal.
Yeah, I could tell Paul was having a little bit of issues there with the Wi-Fi. Don't worry. This is something that we worked with on the last time, and he'll get jumped back in here. Probably just do a visual, or not visual, excuse me, audio. So in the meantime, just me guys here for just a little bit. So I mean, a little bit of background: Alonzo Highsmith. Reasons why I think he's the guy. Why he's so tied in to the University of Miami. This is a guy who attended Christopher Columbus High School, helped that team reach a state championship final in 1982 as a defensive end. Florida High School Defensive Player of the Year and Dade County Athlete of the Year honors. I mean, all he did in high school was dominate. He gets to college, they make the change at position, move him to fullback, but Highsmith chose Miami over schools like Notre Dame and Michigan, which at that point in time, those were pretty big schools. I mean, that was a lot of competition to go after. He was a member of the 1983 Canes national title squad. When he moved to fullback, it seemed to be just a fantastic fit for him. He led the team in rushing versus Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. He actually, in 1984, when Jimmy Johnson took over, he led the team in rushing overall with 906 yards. So, I mean, he was right there with him. 6.2 yards per carry. 6.2 yards per carry.
All right, we are back. Apologies, Ross. Can you hear me good now?
I got you.
Perfect. How's everything going, Ross?
You froze.
Hey, Ross. Am I good now?
Yeah.
Gotta love it. All right, so we're good. We're live. My apologies, guys, about that. I am moving, actually, June 6th, so we won't have to deal with the Wi-Fi issues anymore. It's been going on the past couple weeks, so that's a plus. But what we spoke about with Alonzo Highsmith, why is this such a big deal at the University of Miami?
Understanding the history, being from the area, knowing how important it is to recruit that area and recruit it hard and land the elite talent in that in our local backyard, basically. And then to go and have that NFL experience, dude. I mean, that just speaks volumes to the football mind that he has. You know, teams wouldn't have just took him on at those roles if they wouldn't have thought they could help him. So he even for the Seahawks, he went on as just a consultant, and he impressed them so much that they gave him a full-time role.
Here's my thing too, Ross. I think he's going to have a bigger value in evaluating transfer portal players. I think primarily that's one of his objectives coming in as general manager of football operations. I think he's solely going to, not solely, but one of his tasks is going to be, hey, there's going to be players in the transfer portal. We need you as a former scout in the NFL at a high level, evaluating college football players for the NFL draft. We need you to evaluate transfer portal players that are new free agents, because that is the new free agency of college football. And I think that's one of his tasks at the University of Miami for Alonzo Highsmith, is evaluating the free agency pool of the transfer portal.
I think you nailed it. Honestly, I think you nailed it, dude. I mean, that didn't quite cross my mind completely. I thought it'd be, you know, of course, part of his job, but seriously, if you think about it, that's a perfect gig for him. He understands the free agency market basically from the NFL standpoint. So he already knows how to dip his feet into that world and be successful in it. So heck, man, if he's part of our transfer portal, go for it.
I think Mario Cristobal understands the transfer portal is a big impact in college football now with college football programs. Ross, correct me if I'm wrong. Are we at 11 transfer portal players coming in this year?
I believe so.
11 transfer portal players.
I believe so.
I don't recall if Manny Diaz has reached that number in the past in one season. I know in the past it felt like he was really emphasizing the portal more because of the social media hype he was putting around it. But Mario Cristobal has quietly gotten a lot of players from the transfer portal during his first, basically, call it summer, off-season, whatever you want to call it, at the University of Miami. Now you're bringing in a former NFL scout who's had a very high title for NFL organizations to evaluate transfer portal players coming in. You're going to trim a lot of fat. And I think you're going to take a lot of quality over quantity. And I think we're going to execute on the players we bring in and can be instant impact players from having another set of eyes as a player evaluator.
You know, bringing in these transfer portal guys, it just reminds me of the Mel Tucker situation in Michigan State.
Yep.
He cleared house. He brought in his guys. He let guys know right away that, hey, if you stay here, you're not going to get much playing time. You don't fit this new system. Sorry. He let them know bluntly, and he was honest with them and let them know you're going to have a better chance if you go to a different school that fits your strengths. And I think that's what we're doing. We're not going to do it quite as hardcore as Mel Tucker did. Mel Tucker did it pretty savage. But I think we're going to do it in Mario Cristobal's way, where it's just kind of a little more friendly touch put towards it, but still getting the point across.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Mel Tucker's situation was like, hey, look, my team really sucks. So I'm just going to bring everyone and their mom to my football program. And, we're just going to build from the guys we bring in, honestly, because none of the guys I have currently I can really win with. I think Mario has a lot of tools. I think he was left in a position where, hey, we need interior defensive linemen. We need help D-line wise. Hey, we need an extra receiver.
Yeah.
We need extra defensive backs. We need, that's what I see he's bringing in. We need offensive linemen. We have our first unit primarily down. Let's develop a second unit. That's what I think Mario Cristobal is bringing in. And, I think this is a new Miami per se from what we've had to deal with in the past, quite honestly. The staff keeps getting better and better. And reiterating it again, man, Alonzo Highsmith wanted to be a part of this program, whether it was chief of staff previously under Coach Diaz. He inquired about the position. I don't know if he interviewed with Blake James, but he expressed his interest. He was rejected. And now Mario Cristobal, fellow Miami Hurricane, gives him an opportunity to come to the University of Miami and, try to bring back those glory days. I'm not going to say we're going to replicate 5 national titles because that's honestly, it's very, very difficult. But if we can replicate a small grain of success and become a winning football program again, and maybe win a national title, you never know. I think we're taking appropriate steps to be more successful moving forward. And I think we have one of the best staffs in the nation.
I think these guys, Paul, were brought in to establish, and I'll say it 3 times in a row, depth, depth, depth. It's what we've been lacking at Miami, and it's what it's, even Cristobal started to understand what it took at Oregon to have to go down and beat places like Ohio State and compete with the SEC teams.
Yeah.
You can't just have a flashy starters all over the place with no depth. You have to have second and third guys that can come in that you can trust, or at least guys that can come in and play specialty type roles during games. We have to get that depth, and I'm starting to see some of it happen. Now, dude, development is everything, though. Names are flashy, 3, 4-star, 5-star, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But development is what will truly get us that depth, and also making the right moves in the transfer portal to get immediate depth.
Well, I think Alonzo Highsmith can actually tell players, hey, this is what you're lacking if you want to enter the NFL draft as well. He's done this for many years, evaluating players that are entering their names in the NFL draft, go to the combine. He knows what NFL organizations are looking for in the NFL draft. So, he sees a player practicing every day, sees his film. He's going to tell him, this is your strengths. These are your weaknesses. These are things you need to work on. It's another set of eyes overseeing the football program. And he's had a very successful career in the NFL as well.
It's a guy who was coached by Jimmy Johnson. I mean, heck, dude, I love players that have been coached by Jimmy Johnson. They've got the right mentality, and they've got that mentality that needs to be at Miami. We lost that mentality somewhere along the line, sadly. I don't know how or why. It was just bad decision after bad decision. We lost that mentality. We're starting to bring it back, though. These hires are proving to me that we're starting to bring it back and that they understand how important it is to bring it back.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Anything else you see, Ross, I guess objective-wise, or kind of just tasks you think Alonzo Highsmith will oversee? We mentioned overseeing the free agency pool of the transfer portal, evaluating players. Is there anything else you can see Alonzo Highsmith, just adding more weight to the football program at the University of Miami?
When you give a guy a role like general manager of football operations, what it does is it basically opens all kinds of doors. It allows it so he doesn't have to be stuck doing one thing or another. Basically means he can be part of any football operations that we deem he needs to be part of. So, basically, it's hard for me to say one or two things because, honestly, whatever they feel they need him at, that door is already open by giving him that title. They're letting him basically oversee football operations at the University of Miami. That's a big role.
I hate to talk about the past, but, it is over. But it's funny how, Blake James and Manny Diaz wanted nothing of Alonzo Highsmith because they knew, their time would be done. And I'm just glad we have people who want to succeed at the University of Miami.
Yeah.
And Ross, please feel free to show the comments out in public. I'm on the phone, so I can't do that. But
I just noticed. That's why I was doing it.
Yeah.
Man. The portal is going to be something that's going to be actively spoken about and until this season, until we actually start to figure out what kind of depth we have. Little practices and stuff like that here and there. Yeah, they get a little idea of what kind of talent we have, but this portal is going to keep being used as we evaluate the talent on our team. And I expect it to be fairly cutthroat in for the fact that we're going to go after the top guys no matter what.
Speaking of the portal, it kind of hit me. I know Jaden Rashada, he's a high school football quarterback, 5-star recruit, phenomenal football player. We're seeing some waves go to Texas A&M. Ross, I hate to say this, be negative Nancy, because it's so early in recruiting. I think we're starting to see the trend go away from Miami for Jaden Rashada. And I think Texas A&M is really the favorite, or I think Miami's on the outside looking in.
I unfortunately feel that same exact way. And there's been so much change in such a hurry with these reports and stuff, dude, that I can't help but feel that it's genuine and that we are on the outside looking in, unfortunately. That puts us in position, of course, to look at a guy like Emory Williams. And it's why we went out and we evaluated Avery Johnson. So we're not just going to give up on the quarterback situation. We're going to plan on bringing a quarterback in. It just, to me, a guy like Emory Williams, he offers some kind of upside. Don't get me wrong. He offers some kind of P5 upside. But how long can you wait even on a guy like him until he says, hey, man, look, I'm not going to be your plan B or plan C option. I'm going to go play where they want me at. So it's a tough thing to gauge. So hopefully they're just handling it right. And they should be, because these guys know recruiting.
Do you think Alonzo Highsmith at all can just add more weight to recruiting in some capacity, or do you think it'll be more player personnel role, transfer portal primarily?
I think it'll be more player personnel and transfer portal. I don't know how much he'll be involved in recruiting, but that's something that I'm kind of keeping an ear out for, because if he does become involved in recruiting, that's a very interesting dynamic. And I'm not sure how many other schools have their general manager of football operations involved in that.
I can see him play a role where they're all in a meeting room. Maybe it's the offensive coaching staff, defensive coaching staff. They're all evaluating a player's tape, and maybe they're kind of like, hey, look, we're kind of 50-50 on him if we want to give him a formal offer, if he's a take in this class. I mean, what do you guys think of him? I can see Alonzo come in saying, hey, he's really good at this. He's really bad at that. I see him at the Power 5 level. No, I see him more at the lower tier Power 5 level. Oh, I can actually see him potentially play at a program like Ohio State, your Clemson's, Alabama's, if he reaches, this X amount of potential and works on X, Y, Z. I can see at that, rate, but I don't think he'll be on the trail, going across the nation, recruiting, young men, football players, texting them every day and playing the whole recruiting game. I don't think he'll be a part of that. More of just breaking down film and seeing if he can really contribute at the Power 5 level for the University of Miami.
He's gonna help what we have now more in terms of not what we have coming in the future. That he's going to be there to start developing guys and start getting the football operation all straight, which includes the guys who we actively have and future transfer portal guys. Recruits really don't fit into that for him. So I could see it being something to where he doesn't have to deal with them at all.
100% agree. And, speaking of recruiting guys, we actually have a big time recruit who 5-star offensive lineman who holds offers from literally Ohio State, Alabama, every program you can think of. He's actually visiting the University of Miami, and we actually had him on the show. Alonzo Allen, very good football player. We're very high on him. We've had him on the scoop. What do you think? I know you talk to him a lot, Ross. I mean, where do you think his recruitment stands and kind of the relationship he has with the University of Miami going into this visit?
Fantastic relationship with Miami. Absolutely fantastic relationship with Cristobal and Mirabal. So, the two top dogs pretty much who you want to have on his side. His primary is Mirabal, but, that's expected for an offensive lineman like that. He, like you said, you said he'll be down on Thursday. We'll be interviewing him shortly after that. So we'll find out very, very quickly about how well that visit went for him.
Yeah, no, hopefully, we can get him on the scoop right after his visit. We can get an update. I'll say this, if we can get Alonzo Allen on this class, we can get the ball rolling. He's an outstanding offensive lineman. We always need offensive linemen. We are rebuilding at that unit. When we had Coach Pat on the scoop, he said we're trying to identify a second team unit. We need to identify that. That needs to get done.
How big would it be if we start to truly see a second team unit start to develop with our offensive linemen and defensive linemen? We've been worried about some of these areas, but let's say the development is so key and it's so right for our guys that we start to see change in that. If we can get the trenches getting pointed the right direction in year one, that's exciting times in the future for us then. There's no doubt about it.
Any recruits that are standing out right now, Ross, that you're seeing Miami's trending towards, or, just engaging right now more towards Miami to keep an eye out?
Yeah, I mean, Logan Halland is a guy that we're going to continue to stay with. I mean, 6'7", 200 and some pounds, super athletic offensive tackle. We're not worried about the grade that he's been given by by the grading services, by the recruiting services. This is a kid who can flat out play Power 5 football and belongs in the Power 5. We are actively going after him. There's a name that popped up recently, and I got in touch with him actually because I wasn't quite sure what he was thinking about Miami, but 2023 athlete Kylan Webb. He's a lean towards FSU right now, but I got a hold of him, and he's starting to get more and more impressed by what he's seeing from Miami lately, and it sounds like Miami might be turning the heat up on him. He's a very, very good athlete, dude. Very good. Four-star cornerback. What?
Florida State lean as well.
Yeah, Florida State is where he's leaning towards, and we can totally snatch guys like that. We got the staff to make sure that we can do that.
Yeah.
Jakeem Jackson was just on staff. He visited 3 days ago. His recruitment is heating up big time. I mean, not just at Miami, but elsewhere. He's really turned into one of those players who's kind of had a late bloomer situation in some ways where he wasn't talked about a month or two ago, and then boom, all of a sudden just all over the place. I did talk to 2023 offensive tackle from Texas, Johnny Williams IV. He's just focusing on football right now this spring, and he said he'll do an interview with us this summer, so we'll get a better chance to hear from him this summer about what he's thinking about Miami. 4-star 2023 tight end Reed Mikeska from Texas. He really enjoyed his visit to Miami. We are serious contenders for his commitment. Things have bumped up big time for us there, and he is a very, very good tight end.
Any players you see that, hey, Canes fans, I don't think you guys should circle these names right now. They're trending towards away Miami. They're visiting other programs and maybe aren't really considering Miami anymore due to, hey, look, I got Ohio State, Alabama, Texas A&M, Clemson. I'm taking official visits there. Miami is no longer on my list that you've spoken with, Ross.
So far, just one who has outright ruled Miami. Most of them, if they haven't outright ruled Miami, they've kind of played a little game with me where they kind of make sure that Miami stays in the mix a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. But one guy who outright told me that Miami's no longer in the mix is 2023 offensive tackle Tosin Babalade from DeMatha Catholic. And that was a guy that our staff really liked. They really liked his physical upside. He couldn't make it down to Miami. He just simply couldn't get to Miami, and that was kind of part of his determining factors to get into colleges was to make sure that he did OVs at those colleges, and it just simply didn't work out, unfortunately.
Hey, it is what it is, part of the recruiting game. You're going to lose people. You might pick up people later in recruiting, and, relationships change over time. The key is to winning football games. If you win, recruits will come, obviously. NIL bills, the name, image, likeness thing going around, that helps too, obviously. But you have to play at a winning football program. I think it's going to help a lot.
I will say, too, that I spoke with 2023 4-star defensive lineman Darren Reed. It's a guy we're both really high on. I asked him directly about Coach Salavea. This is the quote I got from him. He is a great coach and an even better person. I could see myself being coached by him. Diaz and his staff were about to completely screw up that recruitment. They were about to completely drop the ball on that. Cristobal and staff have done more than pick up the pieces. They have him actively looking at Miami all the time, and he loves our coaching staff, dude. He loves those guys.
I know Darren's out of the state of Georgia. You're really high on him. Physically speaking, the guy is a monster. He's huge. Do you think Georgia is the favorite?
It's pretty tough if they prioritize him and they roll out the red carpet, man. It's pretty tough, but I'll tell you what, this love he has for Miami isn't fake. It's genuine, dude. He liked Miami when Diaz was there. It's just he was confused because they weren't recruiting him properly. So what do you do in those times? You start to look at other schools, and that's exactly what he did, and that's the smart thing he did. He didn't just wait. We've changed that completely, though, dude. Absolutely changed that, and now we are in his top school list, and it's bona fide and it's genuine.
Look, it's I'm big on Darren Reed, 4-star, heck of a player. Defensive tackle, I think he'll play at the next level. Once we start playing football games, we show we can compete with Texas A&M. We pull off a win there in College Station. We beat Clemson, Death Valley. I'm just throwing out scenarios there. We win the ACC title. It's going to be a lot easier recruiting, guys. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier when we start winning the big games on national TV. Then recruits will start. I mean, the process of recruiting, the fighting for other programs, I mean, it's going to trim the fat a lot. Because right now, I mean, we always hear the offseason hype about Miami recruiting, every different coaching staff, but just let things settle down. We have a very good coaching staff. Bringing in Alonzo Highsmith. Mario wants to get this right. And then when the regular season comes, we have a great season, 10 wins. We win the ACC. We win a New Year's Six Bowl. I think those are all reachable tasks. I don't think that's very far away.
Yeah.
We're going to get a lot more recruits.
So, speaking of that, Paul, I just got DM'd from a recruit that we're both really high on. Collins Achampong just told me that Miami is a favorite and they are very high on his list. He won't let me say how high on they are on the list yet, but he did tell me they are very high on the list, and it's true. He showed me the number, so trust me, man. We're very high on that list, and he's very excited about Miami, and we're talking about a superior athlete. At his size with his athleticism, dude, I mean, the guy could play multiple positions. Seriously, he could be a freak defensive end. He could be a freak tight end. I mean, the guy could do all kinds of stuff for us. Hybrid roles, whatever. So it's great to know that he has Miami right there in his top schools.
And he's a 4-star athlete out of Anaheim, California, in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Personally, I like him at defensive end. I think they're going to bring him in at tight end. It seems what's going. Isn't Coach Field his primary recruiter as well?
That's a good question. I don't remember off the top of my head. He might be. And if it was, at least he started off with that. But we also know that Field can be a guy who recruits for other positions as well.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be brought in as a tight end. I would like to see him as defensive end at the next level. But I think it's very positive if you bring in a recruit that can play multiple positions on different sides of the football at the Power 5 level. I think that's a big plus.
Did recently find out too, Paul, that a 2023 running back, Dalen Smothers, he is actually one of my favorite running backs in the class. He's talking to Coach Kevin Smith about getting a visit set up. So that's actively moving forward. Explosive runner, offers from places like Oklahoma, FSU, Miami, Penn State, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Tennessee, plus more. So we're actively working on getting him on campus. Dude, like I'm telling you, he's an electric runner. Absolutely electric. And that falls into the line of, where we fall in with Cedric Baxter and Mark Fletcher. Because those are the two top dogs right now. We're getting more involved with the Mark Fletcher recruitment again. It sounds like we've actively gotten more involved with it. So we'll see where we go with that. But Cedric Baxter is still right there as like plan 1A, 1B.
All right, 30 minutes into the show. Ross, anything you want to talk about that we have not covered yet?
I mean, the only other things I got, dude, are just, recruiting news. That's about all I got.
Hey, it's really exciting to have Alonzo Highsmith back at the University of Miami. I know fans were dying for this.
Yep.
For quite some time. We have to appreciate what Mario Cristobal is doing. People understand the University of Miami football program needs to come back to greatness, needs to stop being an embarrassment, because it has been an embarrassment the past, I don't know how long, since
2 decades.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been quite a while, and it's time to win the ACC. It's not a strong conference. That's the reality of the situation.
Okay.
It's so bad that they just want to have one. They just want to have one basically division. They don't even want to have an Atlantic or Coastal. They think the Coastal's a waste. Basically, Clemson, everyone else.
That kind of tells you how many opportunities Miami should have had to stay on top of our end, and we just haven't. I got a good question here from Chris Gons. How are we recruiting process? How are we in the recruiting process? Ross and Malik Bryant and Lewis Carter, top linebackers out of Florida in 2023. Malik Bryant sounds like he is actively, involved with our staff pretty much on a daily basis. He will be back down for Legends Camp, I believe. Lewis Carter, I'm glad you brought his name up. Super, super athletic, a player who's not being talked about enough. Sideline to sideline type of linebacker offers the speed that we need, right? Like truly, I have him ranked a lot higher than a lot of other media services do, just for the simple fact that I've seen that speed and that tenacity he plays with. And dude, and he's being coached up right too. I know his coaches. He's being coached up very well.
Well, there you go. Love it, man. Ross is on top of recruiting. I don't know. I can't keep up with it this much. Ross is on it, man. Any player you mention, he'll name it right off the bat. Break him down. He's doing an incredible job recruiting, so he's definitely a go-to guy to look out for when it comes to player evaluations, recruiting, and identifying talent. I mean, Darren Reed was someone you've been very high on, and it seems like Mario Cristobal and his staff love him more than the previous staff did under the Diaz era. So definitely a great sign. Ross definitely knows his stuff.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. And while we're at it here too, I just don't want to leave things out. There is a possibility, guys, that we could bring in 2 tight ends in this cycle, and it just depends on which 2 it is. The fact is that guys like Riley Williams, Reed Mikeska, Jackson Carver, and Julian Randolph, those are the top tight ends that the staff feels really good about. But let's not forget about Jackson McCullen. He's a sleeper right now. He's committed to Cincy, but he grew up as a Canes fan. He sent me all kinds of pictures of him growing up, throwing up the U, wearing Canes gear with his family and all that stuff. So he's really excited about his offer. So he might be a sleeper that we just haven't really heard enough about yet.
All right, guys. Well, listen, first game of the year cannot get here, any quicker, honestly. I can't wait. Time is flying by. I know it's kind of a drag right now because it's, what do we talk about? I mean, Alonzo Highsmith coming back. This is outstanding, but like we want the regular season to get going. We want fall football back. We want to see everyone in pads ready to go. Hey, our goal is to get you through the offseason with outstanding content. We're going to be coming out with some live call-in shows, some more short videos, and just more content for you guys. And hopefully we'll get some, interesting perspectives people who've spoken with Coach Mario Cristobal as well, and kind of, know what his vision is for the University of Miami coaching staff when you actually, spend time with the man himself, Mario Cristobal, and really hear him out and go in depth with him. So that's our goal here at the Scoop this offseason. And, man, we cannot wait for the first game of the year. I'm excited, Ross. It seems like the University of Miami this offseason has done a tremendous job. We have an elite coaching staff. We brought in Alonzo Highsmith. Mario Cristobal has the vision. He's brought in 11 transfer portal players or more. Now we just got to win some football games.
There's another question that was brought up I want to address here, Paul. It says, Ross, what about the number 1 athlete out of Washington, D.C.? His name is Nicholas Harbor. More than 40 offers for this kid. Seriously, like a little over 40 offers. Top 7 right now is Michigan, USC, Miami, Maryland, Georgia, LSU, and South Carolina. 6'5", 225 pounds, and runs a 10.28 in the 100-meter, Paul. I mean, just crazy number. I mean, that's just insane at that size. Yeah. That's nuts, dude. Carries a 4.6 GPA. He's very, very, very keen on academics, and it will play a huge role for him when he's going to pick the college to attend. And it's something that's not being talked about enough, in my opinion. 4.6 GPA is something that needs to be celebrated and needs to be honored. So Miami being an academic school, hey, man, that could give us a good lean. It really could there, man. 6'5", 225, runs a 10.28 in the 100-meter, dude. Sign me up.
I love it. No, I do. I think it's outstanding. We're going after a lot of out-of-state players, it seems like. I think Brandon Innes, guys, he's going to USC, number 1 wide receiver in the nation. I think he's an interesting wide receiver prospect, by the way. I think he's like, 6 feet, 6'1" to 5'11" range. Runs a 4'7", 4'6", 40. I don't know. I think he has an interesting profile, but no, he's a very good football player, but I think he's going to go to USC. Honestly, guys, I know he's at American Heritage Plantation, but, we're really focusing out of state a lot. Little, obviously South Florida as well, but, Mario has strong ties, very strong ties in the West Coast. A guy like Colin H-Pong, we probably wouldn't have gotten that with our past staff, so we'll be in the mix with him. So, we'll see how this recruiting wraps up, and hey, let's get a fall camp. And man, I'm just excited the U is taking a lot of positive steps forward for this for the future of the program. I mean, it really is a different college football program at the University of Miami we've seen in the past. So thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight. Apologies for the technical difficulties early on. We'll definitely get it fixed either Sunday or after Sunday when I make the move. And yeah, man, just thank you again, guys. And always all about the youth. Go Canes.
Okay.